Ladies and gentlemen, there are no accidents in this life, no random meetings, no meaningless connections. Every single person you've encountered, whether for a moment, a season, or a lifetime, was meant to be part of your story. Some came to lift you, others came to test you, but all came to reveal something inside of you. The truth is, people do not come into our lives by chance. They arrive with purpose, with impact, with divine timing. You may not understand it in the moment, especially when the encounter brings pain or confusion. But trust me, on the other side of reflection, you'll see it clearly. Every relationship was either a mirror, a teacher, or a catalyst for your transformation. This message today is for the soul that's been questioning, doubting, or carrying the weight of why. It's for the heart that's ready to stop asking, why did they leave? And start asking, what did they teach me? So take a deep breath, open your heart, and lean in. Because the truth you're about to hear will shift your perspective forever. This isn't just about people. It's about your purpose. Let's begin. There are no accidents, only divine appointments. You've heard it said before, everything happens for a reason. But have you ever stopped to realize just how powerful that statement really is? People do not simply wander into our lives like leaves drifting in the wind. Every soul that crosses your path does so with purpose. Whether they stay for a moment or a lifetime, their arrival is never random. The universe, God, destiny, whatever name you give it, is far too intentional for coincidences. The truth is, you are not meeting people by accident. They are being sent into your life to shape you, challenge you, grow you, or awaken something within you. Think about the people you've met. Those who brought love, those who brought pain, and those who brought lessons you never expected. Each one was a mirror reflecting something you needed to see. Some entered your life to help heal your wounds. Others came to break you open so the light could enter. Some were there to teach you patience, while others came to test your strength and boundaries. It's all a divine setup, not a setback. You may wonder, why would someone who hurt me be part of that divine plan? Because even pain has purpose. Sometimes, the ones who cause us the most pain awaken our deepest transformation. They shake us, force us to look inward, and push us to evolve. Without them, we may never step into our full power. So don't curse every heartbreak, every betrayal, or every goodbye. Instead, ask yourself, what was I meant to learn here? How did this person stretch me beyond what I thought I could bear? The universe uses people as vessels, sometimes to guide, sometimes to warn, and sometimes to elevate us. When you're in tune with your soul, you begin to recognize the sacred orchestration in your relationships. You no longer chase or cling. You observe, learn, and let go with grace when the time is right. You understand that just because someone doesn't stay forever doesn't mean their role wasn't significant. A 5-minute conversation could change the trajectory of your life. A stranger's words could spark an idea that reshapes your purpose. We are spiritual beings, having a human experience. And every connection, no matter how small, has ripples that extend far beyond what the eyes can see. So, when someone enters your life, don't just ask who they are. Ask why they're here. What is the soul contract? What part of your story are they meant to influence? There are no accidents, only divine appointments dressed as chance meetings. The moment you accept that, your view of life changes. You begin to walk with awareness, speak with intention, and love with depth. Because you now know every person matters, every moment counts. Some people are blessings, others are lessons. There's a quote that says, some people come into your life as blessings, others come into your life as lessons. It's simple, but it holds deep truth. Life is a classroom, and people are the curriculum. Everyone you meet has a role, either to uplift you or to awaken you. Both are necessary, both are powerful, and neither is random. The ones who show you love, loyalty, and kindness are easy to embrace. They make you feel seen, supported, and secure. They inspire you to be better. Their energy feels like home, and their presence strengthens your faith in humanity. These are your blessings, sent to water your soul, to walk beside you in peace, and to help you bloom. Their purpose is to nourish the parts of you that needed reassurance. With them, you feel aligned, like the universe placed a gift in your hands and said, you deserve this. But what about the ones who come in chaos? The ones who break your heart, betray your trust, or bring drama into your life? It's tempting to view them as mistakes, but here's the deeper truth. They too are divine messengers, just dressed in pain instead of peace. Their purpose isn't to comfort you, it's to challenge you, to make you face your wounds, your insecurities, your boundaries, or the lack of them. Their presence forces growth. They bring to the surface the things you've been avoiding, the self-work you've been delaying. You see, if every person in your life only brought ease, you'd never grow. Comfort doesn't create change, discomfort does. And often, the people who bring that discomfort are the ones your soul chose before you even arrived here. They are here to fulfill a soul contract, not to destroy you, but to awaken you, not to ruin your life, but to redirect it. It's painful, yes, but it's purposeful. That friend who betrayed you taught you to trust your intuition. That relationship that broke you taught you self-worth. That boss who overlooked you pushed you to discover your true calling. They weren't just random people in your story. They were catalysts, divine instruments used to shape the strongest, most empowered version of you. And once you see life this way, everything changes. You no longer hold on to resentment. You stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What did this teach me?" You start to recognize that even the storm had a reason, even the fire had a purpose, and even the pain was working for your good. So yes, some people are blessings and others are lessons, but both are gifts. Both came into your life for a reason. And once you understand this, you begin to bless the person who hurt you just as much as the one who healed you. Divine timing and soul contracts. There's a rhythm to this universe, a silent order behind what looks like coincidence. You may think you simply bumped into someone at the right time or that you randomly crossed paths with a certain person. But the truth is, there are no accidents. Everything and everyone arrives in your life according to divine timing. There is a spiritual contract signed long before you were born, and the people you meet are living proof of that agreement. You didn't just meet them. They were placed. By timing, by energy, by a divine alignment orchestrated by something far bigger than you. The person who showed up when you were at your lowest? Not a coincidence. The one who helped you dream again after years of doubt? Not an accident. The one who hurt you so deeply it forced you to change your life? That pain didn't show up by chance either. It was on purpose. It was scheduled. You see, before you entered this life, your soul made agreements, soul contracts with other souls. Contracts to teach, to love, to hurt, to heal, to awaken. You promised to meet at certain points in this lifetime, to fulfill a mission that would elevate your soul's evolution. And that's why certain people feel so familiar the moment you meet them, like you've known them forever. Because, on a soul level, you have. Divine timing is not about convenience, it's about alignment. Some people come into your life right when you're about to give up, just to remind you that you're not alone. Others appear when you're too comfortable, just to shake you awake. They may not stay long, but they leave fingerprints on your spirit that last a lifetime. Some of those encounters are brief but deeply impactful, while others unfold over years, gradually revealing the purpose behind their presence. And even the ones who leave, especially the ones who leave, play a role in shaping your destiny, their exit often opens the door to your breakthrough. You thought they were the main character, but they were just the catalyst. Without their departure, you wouldn't have stepped into your purpose. You wouldn't have discovered your strength. So stop doubting the timing of your life. Stop questioning why someone entered your world just to exit. Start trusting that even when people come and go, they came exactly when they were supposed to, and they left exactly when their role was complete. Once you embrace this truth, you stop forcing connections. You stop begging people to stay. You start honoring every arrival and every exit as sacred. You begin to understand that people don't come into your life by accident. They are answers to a spiritual question your soul has been asking. They are part of the divine choreography of your journey. Trust that choreography. Trust that nothing is random. And remember, divine timing is never late. It's just right on time. Lessons hidden in connection. Sometimes the people who enter your life don't bring love or peace. They bring storms. But those storms carry lessons that your soul desperately needs. When someone walks into your world and shakes it up, it's not to destroy you, it's to teach you. Every connection, whether it's uplifting or heartbreaking, holds a lesson meant to shape your character, refine your purpose, or redirect your path. Some people are mirrors, showing you who you really are, not who you pretend to be. They reflect your wounds, your patterns, your hidden beliefs. They trigger emotions buried deep inside you, emotions you didn't even realize you were still carrying. And in doing so, they give you the opportunity to heal what's been ignored. It might feel like pain in the moment, but it's actually a divine intervention. They're revealing what needs your attention. Other people are reminders. They remind you of your worth when you've forgotten. They remind you to dream bigger when you've been playing small. They reignite the flame you allowed life to dim. These souls may show up quietly, but their impact is loud. They speak life into you when you're running on empty. They help you see your light again. And then there are those who challenge you, not because they're your enemy, but because they're your teacher, the difficult boss, the disloyal friend, the partner who couldn't love you right. It's easy to label them as villains in your story, but look closer. Were they not the ones who made you stronger? Didn't they push you to choose yourself for once? Didn't they teach you what you will and will not tolerate anymore? Life doesn't send people to hurt you, it sends people to awaken you. The pain you feel is the cracking of your comfort zone. It's the push into the next version of yourself. Growth rarely comes wrapped in comfort. Most of the time, it comes wrapped in the unexpected, in betrayal, in abandonment, in difficult conversations and hard goodbyes. But behind each of those experiences is a lesson, and that lesson is the gift. When you start seeing people this way, as teachers rather than enemies, you stop taking everything so personally. You stop resenting what happened and start asking, what was I meant to learn from this? That question alone can shift your life. It transforms your pain into power, your heartbreak into wisdom, your confusion into clarity. The key is to stop labeling people as good or bad. Instead, ask, what role did they play in my evolution? Because even the most painful relationships often lead to the most profound revelations. So, open your eyes. Pay attention to the lesson, not just the person. Because the person may leave, but the wisdom they sparked in you, that stays forever. That becomes a part of you. And that is how you grow. That is how you evolve. That is why people do not come into your life by chance. The role of divine timing in every encounter. There's a sacred order to the universe that goes far beyond what we can see with our eyes or grasp with our minds. You might think that meeting someone was just a coincidence, a matter of being in the right place at the right time, but what if I told you that nothing about that encounter was random? What if that person was placed in your life at exactly the right moment for a divine reason? You didn't meet them too early, and you didn't meet them too late. You met them exactly when your soul needed to. That's divine timing. It's the universe, God, or whatever higher power you believe in, working behind the scenes, orchestrating connections that serve a purpose greater than your current understanding. And while it may not make sense in the moment, it will in time. The timing of people entering your life is never wrong. It's always right, even if it feels inconvenient or painful. Sometimes people appear just when you're at your breaking point. When you're down to your last ounce of hope, someone shows up with encouragement, a word of wisdom, or a gesture of kindness that keeps you going. They may not stay long, but they arrive when your spirit needs them most. They're messengers, not meant to journey with you forever, but sent to lift you out of the pit and help you stand again. Other times, people walk in when you're on the edge of transformation. You might be questioning your direction, unsure whether to leap forward or retreat. And then, out of nowhere, someone comes into your life who challenges your thinking, disrupts your routine, or even inspires your courage. Their presence becomes the spark that ignites your evolution. Even those who seem to bring chaos or heartbreak arrive on schedule. Divine timing doesn't always feel divine. It sometimes feels like loss, confusion, or betrayal. But what you see as a disruption is often preparation. It's life saying, you've outgrown where you are. It's time to level up. And that leveling up usually requires discomfort. The person who broke your heart may have unknowingly broken the cage that was keeping you small. This is why it's important to trust the timing of your life. Don't rush it. Don't fight it. When someone enters your world, pause and ask, why now? What is this moment trying to teach me? What part of my soul is this person here to touch, heal, or awaken? These questions can change everything. Every encounter, is part of a much bigger picture, one you may not see until you look back years from now. But trust this, the universe doesn't make mistakes. People come into your life by divine appointment, not by random chance. So be present, pay attention, and most importantly, be grateful for the timing, even if you don't understand it yet. Because one day you'll look back and realize it all happened exactly the way it was meant to. Some people are meant to be lessons, not lifelong companions. It's a hard truth to swallow, but not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay. Some people come into your world to teach you something and then leave. They're not villains, they're not mistakes, they are lessons in human form. And the sooner you understand this, the easier it becomes to release what no longer serves your growth. Think about it. There are people you were once incredibly close to, people you couldn't imagine living without. You laughed together, cried together, made plans for the future. At the time, it felt like they were your forever. But seasons changed, and so did the bond. Maybe they drifted away. Maybe they hurt you. Maybe life just pulled you in different directions. And it left you wondering, why did they come into my life just to leave? Here's the truth. Not every connection is supposed to last a lifetime. Some are only meant to shape you for a moment. Some people are like mirrors, reflecting back parts of you that needed attention. They challenge your patience, test your boundaries, or highlight your insecurities, not to break you, but to reveal what you still need to heal. Without them, you wouldn't have grown. Sometimes we confuse duration with value. We think a relationship or friendship has to last forever in order to be meaningful, but that's not true. A person can come into your life for just a few weeks and still change you forever. They can leave a mark on your soul that time can never erase. Their purpose wasn't to walk the entire journey with you. It was to help you get through a specific chapter. And yes, some lessons come wrapped in pain. Maybe they betrayed your trust. Maybe they took your kindness for granted. Maybe they walked away without explanation. But even those moments, especially those moments, hold valuable lessons. They teach you resilience. They teach you discernment. They teach you how to set boundaries and protect your energy. The key is not to become bitter. Don't let temporary people leave permanent scars. Instead, let them leave wisdom. Let them teach you what you needed to learn. Forgive them if you must, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. It's also important to remember that you too are a lesson in someone else's story. You may not realize it, but your presence, your love, your honesty could have been the exact mirror someone else needed. You might have taught someone how to love better, how to value themselves, or how to move on. And that's powerful. So stop clinging to what has already served its purpose. Release the need for people to stay. Some were only meant to pass through your life like a wave, brief but powerful. Appreciate the lesson, bless the experience, and move forward. Because life isn't about holding on. It's about learning, growing, and evolving. And sometimes the greatest growth comes from letting go. Some people are here to awaken you spiritually. There comes a moment in every soul's journey when something or someone shakes you awake. A person crosses your path, not by coincidence, but by divine alignment. And suddenly you begin to question everything, your beliefs, your purpose, your patterns, your pain. That person may not look like a spiritual teacher, they may not speak in sacred language, but their impact goes deeper than words ever could. They awaken something in your soul. You see, spiritual awakenings don't always come in peaceful packages. Sometimes they arrive through chaos, heartbreak, or even betrayal. It's in those intense emotional moments with someone that your spirit begins to stir. You begin to see the truth about your life, your wounds, your desires, and your divine potential. That awakening is rarely comfortable, but it's always necessary. There are people who come into your life and act as catalysts. They aren't always positive influences by the world's standards. Some may challenge you, hurt you, or force you to face parts of yourself you've avoided for years. But make no mistake, they are playing a spiritual role. They disrupt the illusion so you can find clarity. They dismantle your comfort so you can rise into your calling. For example, a toxic relationship may teach you that your worth is not dependent on someone else's love. A one-sided friendship may open your eyes to how often you overgive without receiving. A person's absence may lead you into solitude, and in that stillness, you reconnect with your higher self. These aren't coincidences. These are divine wake-up calls. And sometimes, the awakening comes through love. You meet someone who sees you deeply, someone who mirrors your highest self back to you. They inspire you to grow, to heal, to evolve. You feel a soul recognition, like you've known them forever. That's because on a spiritual level, your souls made a pact. They came to remind you of who you are beneath the noise of this world. Don't underestimate the spiritual contracts you've made with others before this life. Many of the people who come into your life, especially those who impact you deeply, are souls you've encountered in past lifetimes. They return to help you remember your path, even if only for a short time. This is bigger than chance. This is divine orchestration. The question is, are you paying attention? When someone enters your life and shakes your world, don't just react emotionally. Reflect spiritually. Ask, what is this person trying to show me about myself? What is life trying to awaken within me through this connection? Because when you shift your lens from pain to purpose, from confusion to curiosity, everything begins to make sense. Not every spiritual connection lasts, but every one of them leaves a mark on your soul. Some people come to awaken you, and once you're awake, you can never go back to sleep. Some people are meant to teach you boundaries. One of the most difficult but most essential lessons in life is learning how to protect your peace. And sometimes, the only way we learn that lesson is by encountering people who cross the line. People who drain your energy, who disrespect your time, who make you feel small when all you wanted was connection. These individuals don't enter your life by accident. They are sent to teach you the power of boundaries. You don't learn boundaries in the absence of discomfort. You learn them when your soul finally says, enough. You learn them when someone pushes you too far, and you're forced to choose between pleasing them and honoring yourself. And it's in that moment, when you decide to honor your peace, that transformation begins. Some people are here to mirror back the places where you've been too open, too forgiving, too afraid to say no. Their presence shines a spotlight on the parts of you that are still afraid to be seen as selfish or unkind or too much. But here's the truth. Protecting your energy is not selfish. It is sacred. It is necessary. And sometimes, the people who break your peace are the very ones who teach you how to reclaim it. You may find yourself in a relationship where you're always the one apologizing, always the one giving more, always the one compromising. At first, you justify it. You think, this is love, this is loyalty. But over time, you begin to feel hollow, resentful, even invisible. And it's through that pain that you discover your limits. That's not weakness, that's wisdom being born. These people are like spiritual sandpaper. They rub against you until your old patterns fall away. They force you to stop seeking external validation and start developing inner clarity. They show you that not everyone deserves access to you, not because they're bad people, but because not everyone is aligned with it. It's your growth. Learning to set boundaries is a radical act of self-love. It's saying, I am worthy of respect. I am allowed to say no. I do not have to explain my worth to anyone. And the moment you embrace this truth, you begin to attract a different kind of energy. People who respect your time, honor your space, and meet you with mutual effort. But before that shift happens, life will test you. It will keep sending you people who cross the line until you finally draw one. And once you do, everything changes. You begin to feel lighter, freer, more in control of your life. And those people who once drained you, they fade because their job is done. They didn't come to stay. They came to awaken your strength. So if you've been hurt, overlooked, or used, don't just feel broken, feel awakened. This is your invitation to rise, to protect your peace, and to never again let anyone have power over your spirit. Some are lessons, wrapped in pain. Not everyone who enters your life is a blessing in the traditional sense. Some come as storms. They shake your foundation. They leave you confused, broken, or questioning everything you thought you knew. But even in that chaos, there is purpose, because some people are lessons you didn't know you needed, wrapped in the pain you didn't think you could survive. We often resist this truth because pain doesn't feel like growth. It feels like punishment. It feels like betrayal. But growth rarely comes in comfort. It comes in breaking, in loss, in letting go. And the people who hurt you the most, They often play the most powerful role in shaping who you become. They force you to wake up, to look at the red flags you once ignored, to stop begging for love in places that only ever gave you crumbs, to stop abandoning yourself just to be chosen by someone who never truly saw you. These painful encounters are mirrors, showing you where you've been asleep, where you've tolerated less, where your soul has been whispering, you deserve more, but your fear kept you stuck. Think about the person who broke your trust, the one who lied, manipulated, or walked away without warning. In the moment, it felt like devastation, like everything was crashing down. But look at what it led to. Maybe you became wiser. Maybe you finally started valuing yourself. Maybe you realized your worth was never tied to their approval in the first place. That pain was the turning point. Some people come into your life not to love you, but to teach you how to love yourself. They come to show you your blind spots, your vulnerabilities, the wounds you haven't healed yet. And yes, it hurts. But the pain isn't punishment. It's guidance. It's a divine course correction, a wake-up call that shifts your entire direction. You see, the universe doesn't waste experiences. Nothing is random. Not even heartbreak. Every person, every wound, every tear is part of the unfolding story of your becoming. Even when it makes no sense, even when it feels unfair, there is meaning in the mess. When you stop seeing painful people as mistakes and start seeing them as messengers, everything changes. You reclaim your power. You stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what is this trying to teach me? And from that space you evolve. You grow sharper, stronger, and more in tune with your own needs. So the next time someone enters your life and leaves you shattered, don't curse the experience. Honor it, mourn the pain, but cherish the wisdom. Because not all lessons come dressed in light. Some come cloaked in darkness, but they still lead you to the truth. And in time you'll see, it wasn't destruction, it was transformation. Some come to awaken your potential. There are people who step into your life and spark something inside of you that you didn't even know was there. They don't necessarily stay forever, but their presence is powerful enough to leave an imprint on your soul. These are the people who awaken your potential, not by giving you something new, but by reminding you of who you already are. They show up when you're stuck, when you're coasting, when you've settled into a version of life that's too small for the dream burning inside you. Maybe it's a teacher who challenges you, a friend who believes in your talent more than you do, a stranger who says just the right words at just the right time. These aren't coincidences, these are catalysts. You may not even recognize their role at first, but over time, you'll notice a shift. They challenge your comfort zone. They push you to think bigger, act bolder, speak louder. Sometimes they frustrate you because they won't let you stay the same. They won't let you keep hiding your light. And that's their purpose, to remind you that you were never meant to live a small life. They awaken parts of you that fear had buried. They encourage the gifts you were too scared to explore. They tell you, through words or actions, that your voice matters, your vision is valid, and your presence carries weight. Their energy activates yours. Their belief in you becomes the mirror you needed to finally see your own power. These people don't always come wrapped in perfection. Sometimes they're flawed. Sometimes they come with their own wounds. But even then, their presence serves a divine role in your growth. Because it's not about them, it's about what they activate within you. They are the match that lights your fire. And once that fire is lit, you begin to rise. This is why you can't overlook the seemingly small encounters. One conversation can change your direction. One person can reignite your passion. One moment of being seen and heard can shift everything. That's the power of people who awaken your potential. They don't force you to be anything. They just help you remember who you were before the world told you to shrink. You owe it to yourself to pay attention to these connections, to honor them, to take what they've awakened and carry it forward. Because they weren't just passing through, they were part of your becoming. And when they leave, they don't take the spark with them. They leave it with you, so it can grow into something unstoppable. So when someone enters your life and causes you to dream again, to believe again, to fight for something greater, understand that wasn't by accident. That was alignment. That was divine timing. That was life reminding you that your potential is far too powerful to stay asleep. Some come to teach you boundaries. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay forever. Some people come into your world for a very specific reason, to teach you the power and necessity of setting boundaries. These individuals might not always be pleasant, and their presence may bring discomfort, conflict, or even heartbreak. But through them, you learn one of the most valuable lessons of all: how to protect your peace, your energy, and your worth. There was likely a time in your life when you bent over backward to please others. You said yes when you wanted to say no. You tolerated disrespect, settled for crumbs, or gave too much because you were afraid to lose someone. That fear made you compromise your values, and it made you shrink to fit into spaces that weren't built to honor your light. But then someone came along and crossed the line so clearly, so deeply, that it woke you up. They may have taken advantage of your kindness. They may have manipulated your trust. They may have constantly drained you without ever giving anything back. And it hurt. It hurt deeply. But that pain became a mirror that showed you where you needed to build stronger walls. Not walls to block love out, but boundaries to keep your soul safe. Some of the hardest people to deal with are the ones who teach us the most. They teach us what we will no longer tolerate. They teach us the power of saying enough. And as much as it may sting, their presence is often the push we need to reclaim our self-respect. Boundaries are not punishments, they're protection. They are a declaration of self-love. They say, I know what I deserve, and I will not settle for less. And every person who has violated that space, knowingly or unknowingly, has helped you define those invisible lines more clearly. Think about it. If no one ever disrespected your time, you'd never learn to value it. If no one ever took more than they gave, you'd never learn how important reciprocity is. If no one ever made you feel small, you might never find the courage to rise tall and speak up. Some people come to test your limits so you can expand them. Others come to violate your limits so you can redefine them. Either way, their role is important. They force you to choose yourself, to protect your heart without apologizing for it, to love people from a distance if you must, and to walk away when your soul is being compromised. So when you think of the ones who came into your life and left scars, remember, they also left strength. They may have hurt you, but they also awakened your power. You learned to stand up for yourself. You learned to say no with conviction. You learned to draw a line and hold it, and that is no small thing. Some come to remind you of your purpose. There are people who cross your path at the exact moment when you feel lost, disconnected, or unsure of who you are. They may not even stay long, but their presence is powerful. They reignite a flame inside you that you thought had burned out. They remind you of something important, your purpose. Sometimes life gets so noisy that we forget what truly matters. We get caught up in routines, obligations, survival, and in the midst of that chaos, we start to drift away from what once made our soul feel alive. But then someone walks into our life, and without even realizing it, they start stirring up the truth we buried. They ask the right questions. They challenge our complacency. They look at us and see more than we're currently living up to. And in doing so, they call us back to ourselves. These people don't just offer encouragement. They awaken something dormant within us. Maybe they see your talent before you do. Maybe they believe in your dream when you've stopped believing in it yourself. Maybe they push you past your comfort zone because they can sense the greatness hiding beneath your fear. And maybe, just maybe, they're the sign you didn't know you were waiting for. It's not always a gentle process. Sometimes these purpose reminders challenge you in ways that are uncomfortable. They may hold up a mirror to the excuses you've been making or the potential you've been wasting. But their presence is divinely timed. They show up when you're ready, even if you don't feel like you are. They enter your life with purpose, and their energy acts like a spiritual alarm clock, waking you up to what you were born to do. You see, when you're on the edge of giving up or settling, life will send people to remind you that you're not here to play small, that your voice matters, that your gifts are needed. These are the ones who challenge your distractions, call out your procrastination, and make you uncomfortable enough to grow. Think about someone who made you think deeply about your path. Someone who inspired you to pick yourself back up, to keep going, to believe in yourself again. That wasn't coincidence, that was divine alignment. These people don't always stay. Their mission might be brief, a conversation, a moment, a season, but the impact they leave is lasting. You come away changed, refocused, more aware of what sets your soul on fire. So don't dismiss those who disrupt your comfort to redirect your path. They may be here to remind you of the calling you've forgotten, the passion you've buried, or the journey you were meant to walk all along. They are messengers, purpose awakeners, and they do not show up by accident. Some come to open your heart again. Not everyone who walks into your life is here to test or teach you through pain. Some are sent to heal the places in you that have been shut down for far too long. They arrive with warmth in their eyes and peace in their presence, and you feel something you may have forgotten: safety. They don't force their way in. They simply show up with consistency, kindness, and genuine interest, and slowly, your walls, those thick, tall barriers you built from disappointment and betrayal, begin to soften. It's not that they fix you, no one can do that, but they create a space where your heart feels like it can exhale. Sometimes these people come after heartbreak, after loss, or after a season where you've been in survival mode, just trying to make it through. Your heart may have gone numb. You might have told yourself that love isn't safe anymore, or that trusting people only leads to pain. But then they appear, not with loud declarations, but with subtle, unwavering energy that says, "You don't have to carry this alone." They teach you that vulnerability isn't weakness, that it's okay to feel again, that your sensitivity is not a flaw, it's a gateway to connection. And little by little, they help you remember how to receive love, not just give it. They remind you that your heart still works, that it still longs, still hopes, still believes in something more than just surviving. Sometimes the healing they offer isn't even romantic. It could be a friend, a mentor, a soul companion who simply sees you clearly. Their presence alone is soothing. You don't feel judged, you don't feel rushed to be someone else. Around them, you begin to feel worthy just as you are. That kind of love is sacred, and it doesn't enter your life by mistake. These heart openers may only stay for a season, or they may stay for life. Either way, their role is divine. They are the people who help you trust again, not just in others, but in yourself, in life, in love. They remind you that you are still capable of deep connection, of softness, of joy. And even if the relationship doesn't last forever, the transformation they spark within you will. You may look back and say, "I didn't know how closed off I was until they came. I didn't realize how badly I needed to feel again until they reminded me." So if someone has ever helped your heart breathe again, honor that. It wasn't random. It was spiritual alignment, a soul recognizing another soul in need and answering the silent call for healing. Because some people truly are sent to open our hearts again, and when they do, they change our entire capacity for love, for light, and for life itself. Some come to challenge you to grow. There are certain people who walk into your life not to comfort you, but to confront you. Their presence stirs something deep within you, maybe anger, insecurity, fear, or resistance. But make no mistake, they are not here by accident. They are the catalysts, the ones who shake your soul out of its slumber and force you to evolve. These people might frustrate you. They might even offend you. But before you reject them completely, ask yourself, what are they revealing in me? Because that's their role, to reveal, to show you what's still unhealed, to point you toward your next level of growth. They hold up a mirror to your ego, your patterns, your complacency, and while it's uncomfortable, it's necessary. You may encounter someone who pushes your buttons, someone whose success triggers your insecurities, or someone who challenges your beliefs, and it's easy to write them off as difficult, toxic, or arrogant. But if you look deeper, you'll see they're exposing your inner work. They're helping you identify what still needs to be faced, forgiven, or released. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in your life will come after encounters with these people, because they force you to get honest, to confront your shadow, to ask yourself hard questions like, why does this bother me so much? What part of me feels threatened? What do I need to let go of in order to grow beyond this? Sometimes they push you because they see your potential even when you don't. They challenge your excuses. They call you out on your mediocrity. And yes, it can feel harsh, but their pressure is often the very thing that awakens your power. Diamonds are formed under pressure, and you are no different. These people may not stay long. In fact, once their role is fulfilled, the relationship often fades. But the lesson remains. You emerge stronger, wiser, more aware. Their pose wasn't to walk with you forever. It was to push you toward your next chapter. And for that, you may someday feel gratitude. It's easy to love the people who nurture us, but the ones who challenge us, they are often the unsung heroes of our transformation. Without them, we might stay stuck in patterns of comfort and fear. They disrupt our illusion of safety and force us into expansion. So the next time someone enters your life and provokes a strong emotional response, don't just react, reflect. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Because the people who challenge you are not obstacles, they are invitations. Invitations to rise, to evolve, to become someone you never thought you could be. They may not be easy to love, but they are necessary. And their impact on your growth may be one of the most powerful gifts you'll ever receive. Some come to teach you what love is and what it is not. Love is one of life's most powerful forces, but many of us don't truly understand it until we've been both healed and hurt by it. And that's why certain people enter your life, to teach you what love really is, and sometimes to painfully show you what love is not. There are people who come into your world wrapped in the disguise of romance, connection, even destiny. They feel like everything you've ever wanted. They say the right words. They offer what feels like safety. But over time, something begins to shift. The words don't match the actions. The affection comes with conditions. The connection begins to feel like control. And in those moments, you begin to understand, this is not love. These people come into your life to open your eyes. They teach you to recognize red flags, to stop falling for empty promises, to learn the difference between being wanted and being valued, between being used and being cherished. It's not always easy. In fact, these lessons often come wrapped in heartbreak, but they're necessary for your growth. Because when you finally learn what love is not, you start setting higher standards. You stop settling for emotional crumbs. You begin to protect your peace. You realize that love should never feel like walking on eggshells. It should not silence your voice or shrink your spirit. Love, real love, empowers you. It brings freedom, not fear. It builds, it doesn't break. And then, as you heal and evolve, you encounter the ones who teach you what love is. These are the rare souls who hold space for your pain without judgment, who see your flaws and don't flinch, who show up, not just when it's easy, but when it's inconvenient. They teach you that love is not just a feeling, it's a consistent choice, a daily decision to be present, to honor, to respect. Love is shown in the small moments, the stealing, the honesty, the patience, the effort. It's not loud or flashy. It doesn't beg for attention. True love is steady, secure, and sacred, and the people who teach you this kind of love may not always come wrapped in romantic stories. Sometimes it's a friend, a mentor, a stranger, but their impact is undeniable. You begin to understand that love starts with you, that the way you allow yourself to be treated is a reflection of how much love you've cultivated within. These people, whether they stay or go, become mirrors, showing you where your heart needs healing and how much love you're truly worthy of. So, cherish the ones who taught you what love is, and don't resent the ones who taught you what it isn't. Both were needed, both shaped your heart, and both were part of the divine plan. Because people do not come into your life by chance, especially not the ones who change the way you define love forever. Some come to mirror the parts of you that need healing. One of the most powerful yet painful truths in life is this: the people who trigger you the most are often the ones sent to reveal what still hurts within you. We tend to think that those who irritate us, frustrate us, or even betray us are just bad energy to get rid of. And yes, sometimes it's wise to walk away. But before you do, take a moment to ask yourself, why did this person affect me so deeply? Because sometimes they didn't come to destroy you. They came to mirror what's been hiding inside. They came to poke at your insecurities so you would finally acknowledge them. They came to expose your abandonment wound, your need for control, your fear of rejection, or your tendency to overgive. Not to hurt you, but to show you what you need to heal to become whole. For example, if someone constantly makes you feel unheard, it might be reflecting the inner child in you who was never truly listened to. If someone makes you feel like you have to earn their love, maybe it's because you've always believed you had to perform to be worthy. These people, whether intentionally or not, shine a light on your buried pain, and that light is uncomfortable. But here's the truth. What you refuse to look at, you cannot heal. And so, the universe sends you mirrors, not to punish you but to push you, to reveal what's been lingering in the shadows, to remind you that healing doesn't happen in comfort zones. It happens when you're forced to face the truth. Some people come into your life to be that mirror. You may not like them, you may not keep them around, but their role was vital. They woke something up in you. Healing begins when you stop pointing fingers and start asking, what is this showing me about myself? That shift from blame to introspection is where growth begins. That's where transformation starts. And let's be clear, it doesn't mean excusing toxic behavior or staying in harmful relationships. You can acknowledge the lesson and still walk away. You can honor the mirror while refusing to stay in the pain it reflects. You are not here to suffer. You are here to rise. But as you rise, do so with self-awareness. The people who mirrored your wounds were also the ones who handed you the tools to heal them. They showed you your patterns, your blind spots, your emotional triggers. They may not have come with love, but they left behind wisdom. So the next time someone stirs your spirit, pause. Look within. Ask yourself, what part of me needs love right now? That answer will lead you to healing. And the person who triggered that question, they didn't come by accident, they came with purpose. Because people do not come into your life by chance, especially not the ones who show you the pieces of yourself you've been avoiding. Some enter to help you discover your purpose. Some people come into your life like a spark that ignites something you never knew was within you. They don't just love you, support you, or walk beside you, they awaken you. They push you toward a higher calling. They remind you that you're not just here to exist, you're here to fulfill a purpose. These people may not stay forever, but their impact lasts a lifetime. Maybe it's the teacher who saw something special in you when no one else did, the friend who challenged you to dream bigger, the partner who believed in you more than you believed in yourself, the stranger whose words lit a fire in your heart. Their presence, even if brief, was aligned with divine timing. They were meant to arrive exactly when you needed them to. Because the truth is, your purpose is often hidden beneath layers of fear, doubt, and uncertainty. Sometimes it takes someone else to look at you and say, you were made for more, for you to actually believe it. These people serve as reminders of the greatness buried inside of you. They awaken what your soul already knows, but your mind forgot. And sometimes this awakening isn't gentle, it's disruptive. They challenge your beliefs. They push you out of your comfort zone. They question your excuses. They hold up a mirror and show you what you could be if you stop playing small. You may even resist their presence at first, but eventually you realize they were exactly what your evolution required. Purpose rarely reveals itself in ease. It often comes wrapped in challenge, pressure, or discomfort. And the people who help you uncover it, they don't let you stay asleep. They nudge you, shake you, and sometimes even break you open, so you can rise into the version of yourself you were always meant to become. You'll recognize these people because they won't just feed your ego, they'll feed your spirit. They won't flatter you, they'll challenge you, they won't let you settle. They'll speak life into your potential, even when you don't see it. These are the people who change your direction, sometimes with a word, sometimes with a moment, sometimes just by believing in you when you had nothing left. And here's the most beautiful part. Once you've discovered your purpose, you become that person for someone else. You become the reason someone awakens. So when someone steps into your life and causes you to question, to grow, to pursue something bigger than yourself, don't take it lightly. Don't dismiss it as coincidence, because it's not. People do not come into your life by chance, especially not the ones who help you discover why you're really here. They are divine messengers, soul nudgers, purpose igniters. Honor them. Learn from them. Let them shift your life. Because when purpose calls, it often speaks through people. Listen closely. Others arrive to remind you of your worth. There are people who enter your life not to love you, not to walk with you forever, but to wake you up to something you forgot, your worth. Sometimes, we get so lost in giving, in pleasing, in proving ourselves that we forget who we are. We tolerate things we shouldn't. We accept less than we deserve. We silence our needs and abandon our boundaries in the name of love, loyalty, or loneliness. But life has a way of sending someone into your world to shake you out of that trance. These people often appear when you've settled, when you've shrunk yourself, when you've poured into others without pouring into yourself. Their arrival is not always gentle. It can feel like betrayal, disappointment, or heartbreak. But don't be mistaken. Their role was not to destroy you. Their role was to reveal to you how far you've drifted from your value. It could be a relationship where you felt unseen, a friendship where you were constantly giving but never receiving, a job that drained your soul and made you question your gifts. These people and experiences are not punishments, they are wake-up calls. They hold a mirror to your spirit and ask, is this really all you think you're worth? And that moment, painful as it is where transformation begins. You start to reclaim pieces of yourself. You stop settling. You speak up. You walk away from what no longer honors you. You remember that your worth isn't determined by how others treat you. It's rooted in who you are. You were never too much. You were never not enough. You were simply in spaces that couldn't hold your light. The people who come to remind you of your worth often do it unconsciously. They may not even realize their actions triggered a revolution inside of you. But that's the beauty of it. Sometimes, even your heartbreak becomes your liberation. Your disappointment becomes your clarity. Your loss becomes your redirection. They didn't stay because they weren't meant to. Their purpose was to pull you back to yourself, to remind you that your voice matters, that your presence is powerful, that your dreams are valid, that you deserve reciprocity, respect, and real love, not crumbs disguised as care. And once you remember your worth, you move differently. You no longer beg for space, you create it. You no longer chase approval, you embody confidence. You don't fear being alone because you understand that solitude is better than being surrounded by people who make you forget your value. So if someone came into your life and made you feel less than, thank them. They unknowingly handed you one of life's greatest gifts, the motivation to rise, rebuild, and never forget your worth again. Their chapter may be closed, but their lesson was eternal. Remember, people do not come into your life by chance. Even those who wound you may be the very ones who awaken your worth. Some are just meant to teach you what love is not. There are people who enter your life for one powerful reason, to teach you what love is not. That may sound harsh at first, even painful, but it's one of the most important lessons your soul can learn. Before you recognize true love, authentic connection, or healthy partnership, life often introduces you to the opposite. These people do not come wrapped in red flags. They often arrive cloaked in charm, attention, or what feels like immediate understanding. But as time unfolds, so does the truth. Their love may be inconsistent, conditional, transactional, or even manipulative. It leaves you confused, exhausted, anxious, or emotionally starved. And as much as you want to hold on and fix it, life nudges you with a quiet whisper. This is not love. Because real love doesn't leave you questioning your worth. It doesn't make you feel like you have to constantly earn it. It doesn't withhold affection as punishment or make you compete for attention. Real love is steady, it's safe, it's rooted in mutual respect, not control. In truth, not confusion. In consistency, not chaos. But here's the twist. Without experiencing the opposite, you might not have truly known what to look for. You might have mistaken intensity for intimacy, possession for protection, sacrifice for loyalty. Sometimes, life has to let you experience what love is not, so you stop romanticizing dysfunction. You start recognizing red flags instead of painting them white. You stop overextending yourself to keep someone who won't even meet you halfway. You stop accepting breadcrumbs when you deserve the whole table. And you begin to build a new definition of love, one that is healthy, balanced, honest, and nourishing. The ones who teach you what love is not are not villains in your story. They are sacred teachers in disguise. Their presence forced you to evolve. Their absence pushed you to reflect. Their mistreatment made you dig deeper, strengthen your boundaries, and vow never to lose yourself again in the name of love. It's tempting to regret giving your heart to someone who didn't cherish it, but don't. You were supposed to feel it. You were supposed to learn from it. That relationship, that experience, was the lesson. And once the lesson is learned, the pain loses its power. Now you walk wiser. You see clearer. You no longer ignore your intuition. You trust yourself. You value peace over passion that burns too hot and leaves you empty. And most importantly, you now know that love should never cost you your sanity, your self-esteem, or your soul. So if someone taught you what love is not, thank them silently. Their lesson was the gateway to your healing. And because of them, you're now one step closer to the love that's meant for you, the one that feels like home, not survival. They were not your forever, but they were your awakening. The pain was real, but so was the growth. Let's not sugarcoat it. The pain was real. It shook you. It broke you. It made you question everything about yourself, your worth, your choices, even your ability to love and be loved. There were nights when you couldn't sleep, mornings when you woke up with a heavy heart, days when the world felt like it was closing in on you. That pain wasn't imaginary. It wasn't weakness. It was your heart reacting to betrayal, to disappointment, to loss, and you're allowed to feel that. But here's what's just as real as the pain. Your growth. Every tear you cried, every moment you spent wondering why, every ounce of strength it took to walk away, stay away, or simply survive, that became the soil where your growth began. Pain cracks open parts of you that comfort could never reach. It forces you to confront who you are, what you want, and most importantly, what you will no longer tolerate. Growth doesn't look glamorous. It looks like setting boundaries with people you once begged to stay. It looks like choosing solitude over chaos. It looks like rebuilding your self-worth from the ground up. It looks like being misunderstood because you're no longer playing small just to make others comfortable. That pain was the beginning of your transformation. And maybe the world didn't notice. Maybe they just saw you smiling on the surface. But only you know how many battles you fought in silence. Only you know how much strength it took to forgive, or to stop reaching out to someone who never truly reached back. That strength, that silent evolution, is your power. You didn't just heal, you rose. Now look at yourself. You're wiser, you're sharper. You can smell manipulation before it even gets close. You trust your instincts more. You speak up quicker. You walk away sooner. And you're no longer apologizing for growing beyond people who were never meant to come with you into your next season. The pain taught you that healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering without allowing the memory to control you. It means honoring what you went through without living in it. It means carrying the lesson, not the burden. So, never feel ashamed of your scars. They are proof that you didn't stay stuck. You didn't let it destroy you. You became someone stronger, someone deeper, someone more aligned with their purpose because of what you went through. Pain woke you up to the reality that you were made for more. The next time life hits hard, remind yourself, the pain might shake you, but it won't break you. Not this time. Because you've already walked through fire, and you came out gold. You didn't just survive, you transformed, you grew, and now no one can take that growth away from you. Nothing is random. It's all a part of your becoming. By now, you've seen it clearly. People don't just show up in your life by coincidence. They're not accidents. They're not random. Every soul that crossed your path, whether they brought you joy or sorrow, peace or chaos, came with a purpose to teach you, grow you, awaken you, or redirect you. Some came as blessings, others as lessons, but all of them were guides in disguise. You might have asked yourself, why did this happen to me? The heartbreak, the betrayal, the rejection, the confusion, it wasn't senseless. It was sacred. You see, the universe doesn't waste pain. God doesn't write random stories. There is a divine thread woven through every encounter, every conversation, every connection. Some people were mirrors, showing you who you were and who you didn't want to be anymore. Others were doors, leading you into a new version of yourself. And a few were storms, yes, but even storms clear paths that once seemed blocked. The truth is, you needed every chapter, even the ones you wish you could erase. You needed the confusion to find clarity. You needed the heartbreak to finally love yourself better. You needed the loss to discover your strength. Life has been shaping you through people, some who walked with you, some who walked away, and some who had to be removed so your true healing could begin. This isn't about blame. It's about awareness. When you start viewing your life through the lens of intention instead of coincidence, everything begins to make sense. You stop feeling like a victim and start walking as the author of your story. Because every ending was making room for a better beginning. Every goodbye was a disguised protection. Every detour was a divine reroute. So now, it's your responsibility to protect your peace, guard your heart, and trust that every connection moving forward still carries meaning. We're not just meeting people. You're meeting reflections of what you're attracting, tolerating, and allowing. That's why your healing matters. Your growth matters. Because when you rise, so does the quality of the people you allow into your life. And here's what's beautiful. Once you learn the lesson, you no longer need to repeat the pain. You get to choose better, love deeper, live freer. Because now you know not everyone deserves a seat at your table, but everyone who came taught you how to set it. Let the ones who left stay gone. Let the ones who remain be cherished. And let the ones who are yet to come be received with wisdom, not wounds. You didn't meet them by chance. You met them so you could finally meet yourself. Your path was never random. Every person was a piece of your becoming. Don't curse the connection, honor the transformation. Some people were the lesson. You were always the purpose.